Cool.
Well,
And
hello, friends. Liz here. We are kicking it off today with our first insider show and tell. So, this is our opportunity to bring some of our insiders up and have a little bit of a conversation around something that they've done that's awesome, something that they understand or know that's awesome. And we're just going to kind of fireside chat this. But I was having a one on one with Lonnie Welsh a couple weeks ago, I think, and I was like, having this conversation about event insurance kind of blew my mind because after 20 years in corporate, my side of insurance for events was that I didn't ever touch it ever. I did the events and the procurement team or the lawyers all did that stuff. And so obviously I'd have to get a certificate of insurance here and there, but I didn't really pay attention to anything else. And then when you go out and start creating your own events or start doing them for clients, you realize there's a whole world of event insurance that you don't actually know anything about. So I told Lonnie, let's hop on, let's just do a show and tell. And I would love to know everything that you're willing to teach us about this side of the business. So welcome aboard.
hi there. Thank you very much again. It's been so helpful to be a part of this community. I'm learning a lot. We're fairly new to the event industry, just in terms of like, what does everybody do? So this is really helpful to be a part of this and then also attend these and learn from everybody in this group as well. A little bit about me. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I work for a company called Vertical Insure. I'm going to take a clue from Liz this morning. She had posted up about how to give a successful presentation and start with a little bit of a story as to how Vertical Insure came to be. So picture it back in summer of 2020. We were all had those nice worlds said stay inside or else. The good news is it's a beautiful Friday afternoon. It's an amazing weekend ahead. Brock was ready to go out on one of the 10,000 lakes here in Minnesota. He'd been eyeballing a pontoon for his family for the last few years, and he was ready to take the plunge. He was ready to go to the dealer this Friday, pick it up, and start it on the lake right there that evening with his family. As he was entering in his credit card for that down payment, it wasn't until he clicked through all that extended warranty stuff that we all have on those keypads that his wife casually leaned over and said, "Hey, did you get insurance for this boat yet?" Brock's heart dropped. It was 5:30 on a Friday afternoon, and no one was going to be available to get him that insurance. He frantically called all the relatives, all that Uncle Bob who has his own insurance agency. He Googled available options and spent about 2 hours at the dealer going through all sorts of different quotes. He ended up overpaying for an insurance plan that wouldn't even take effect until after the weekend. He thought back to his checkout his experience. Why was that extended warranty offer included? They have all my boat information. They can sell me that warranty, but why not an insurance policy? I want this thing. I have it all right here. I have my credit card out. Just make this thing easy for me, Mr. Dealer. I want to be able to buy this boat and get out on this lake with my family. Good news is Brock is our CEO at Vertical Insure, and he's a tech entrepreneur. He looked at the problem and feel like there's got to be something here for everybody else to solve the problem for. That's Vertical Insure and how he came to be. Really, the goal here for today is to talk a little bit about vertical insurance in terms of embedded insurance. And what we mean by that is insurance that as it relates to the events that you guys run, the events that you guys host, the events that you guys organize. Really, what we talk about is being able to make this a clickable insurance experience. So we don't want people to have to go, "Hey, Liz, I need insurance. Send me the requirements, and then I'll go talk to my agent." And 2 hours later or 2 weeks later, I send you an email that says, "Hey, here's a little bit of the insurance that we needed." Then go back and forth a few more times over email in terms of what actually is needed in the insurance. We believe let's get this thing done within a software platform. So for the context of today, I'll speak a little bit to that and start a little bit more into what this means for you guys. Just general questions. Please keep in mind this isn't meant to be the law. Insurance is heavily regulated. So anything I say is just more of contextualize it in terms of just suggestions and not actual advice. Liz, can you do me a favor and turn on the screen share for me? Just
Absolutely. Sorry, just had that computer sound still sharing. All you now.
perfect. I'll do a couple of quick slides here, nothing too painful for anybody. There's about 11 of them. Again, the goal here is to speak a little bit more about insurance as it relates to event liability, event cancellation, as Liz said, attendee refund protection. Really, again, I kind of hit on this about us. We're insurance, we're technology. Think of it as InsureTech. So FinTech, InsureTech. Again, what we want to hit on today, booking insurance. So think of there's an offer every time I buy a concert ticket that says if I can't attend it. Why can't that be within one of the events I'm creating? I've got a refund policy. I want people to not come back at me and yell at me because they need a refund because their car broke down. I want to support them. I want to be able to give them that opportunity. We'll talk a little bit about that. Event liability, just as specifically as it relates to event hosts and venue requirements. I can't speak the details of it because every venue is different. Every event is different. But I'll speak to generalities and that COI that you get. Why is there an additional insured? What does that mean? And then, of course, event cancellation. Just a little bit of context on there on that industry, so you guys have some information on it. I think a lot of this stuff you could probably chat GPT and get a lot of the answers on, but feel free to bounce anything off of me after this, or just have a general context for your guys' knowledge of it. We covered this as well, but vertical insure, we only want to work with software platforms. That's our difference maker, is we want to work directly with them. So if you come to me and say, Lonnie, I want you to write this policy for me, we're going to probably say no, because we want to be part of that software platform. We want to be part of that journey and actually solving a problem within that software platform to give you
So let
guys.
me ask you then. So that means that the ticket for Secret Family Reunion, for example, when people are purchasing that, I would need Vertical Insure to work with my reg system with Swoogo in order for people to be able to access that.
Bingo.
Okay.
Exactly. We don't want you, Liz, to go, oh, yeah, I got to go talk to Lonnie and get this insurance stuff going. Nope, you've got this in a clickable box.
Awesome.
I won't read all this for you guys. This is in the handout. If you guys want to pause the screen on this recording, feel free to. But really, again, our value prop is to put this thing within that flow to help you guys out. A lot of our platforms will create a dashboard so that certificate of insurance, you can now run a report that says, hey, here's everybody that's going to my event that has a policy. I know that they've got it. They've got it right here, and it's the right type of insurance. Refund protection. I'm going to start with this, Liz, specifically because this is the one that makes the most sense, the one that's kind of new. What this is that ticket insurance. So I'm paying $2,000 to go to a Club Ichi event. I'm paying $1,000 to get my credit hours in at this event that I'm attending in Denver, Colorado next month. All those types of events, they come with a risk, and that risk means what happens if something happens and I can't go to this event? I want to get my money back. Having that checkout, having this option at checkout is exactly what we're talking about. Little cartoony action here for you guys, just to speak to what this means in terms of the context, but just being able to say, I'm an attendee, I'm going to this event. I now have the opportunity to buy refund protection. As you guys, the ones that are organizing this stuff, that means you guys have a better refund policy. That means if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I need a refund. My grandma died and I can't make this thing. Well, did you buy the insurance? No? Okay. Well, you should have. Maybe I'll be the nice person and give you a little bit of money back. Or, yes, you did buy it. Great. Go file a claim with Vertical Insure and they'll help you out. Diving into a little bit more of what the event liability and exhibitor liability, all those things, Liz, that you were talking about yep, I had to go get this thing from the lawyers. Really what insurance is a risk transfer. We're just transferring the risk from one party into a financial side of it, so that if something does happen, you can be financially compensated for it. These certificates, when you do an additional insured, are there in place by the venue so that it doesn't hit them, their insurance. They don't want their claims against them. They want it to go on you, the event organizers or the event hosts or that couple that's getting married at their venue. They want anything that comes up to hit that insurance, not their own. Everything goes to them first. Now there's times when it maybe needs to go back to them, but that is the purpose of these additional insured and the certificate of insurance. It's to protect that venue and all the claims that could come back to them.
And so when they ask for it, some of them put in the minimum, like must have $3 million in COI, must whatever. So is that negotiable ever, or is that just that's what the venue has said, therefore we must pay enough to get that?
Pretty much exactly
Okay.
that. And 9 times out of 10, it's because the insurance told that venue this is what it is. Now you can reduce that amount, but the venues will be charged more. So it's
Okay.
basically the venue saying, what premiums do we want to pay to our insurance company? And then that'll dictate how much you guys need to have.
Okay. And so when something happens, if I have the certificate of insurance, I've given it to the venue, now somebody trips down the icy stairs and breaks her leg. So that means that it's coming to me and not the venue.
Correct. The venue's insurance will typically say go to that insurance first. Now, there's times when it is actually the venue's fault, so then it would go back to them. But they want everything to go to this to this certificate first.
Okay, got it.
Again, it's those types of things. It's the property damage. Now, these are all example coverages here. Not every policy has that. There's some exemptions that'll be on there, but a lot of these are, maybe they'll have a $5,000 medical payment. Maybe they'll have that general aggregate of 2 million or 1 million or 3 million, whatever that is. It all really depends on what that venue dictates.
And it's a certificate of insurance. It's not insurance itself, right? Or am I buying, because let's say I have to pay $500 to get this COI or something. Did I just buy insurance, or what is that?
Yeah,
Is that associated with my general liability?
Yeah, it can be one or the other. So if you're with a large company like a Coca-Cola or an Amazon or a Walmart, you probably have these types of insurance coverages already. What you're doing is just going to your lawyer or to your legal department saying, hey, I need to show this venue that we've got insurance, and they want you to add this as an additional insured. So they'll write it up, 25, $50, something like that, just an administrative fee, and they'll produce it for you. Whereas
Okay,
you're an
so
independent.
I have to have either had general liability or special event insurance, and this certificate of insurance ties back to one of those policies I'm already paying for as a business.
Yep. Yep.
Got it.
Yep. And you may be charged extra if you have $1 million and the venue says, no, you need 2 million. So they may say, all right, give me the dates, all the information. So kind of the value prop is what we're going back to is that venue, that software they're using already has all that information. So we can type it up without any sort of administrative fees, populate it right away.
Okay. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Event cancellation. So this is another form of event insurance, but this is complete financial losses. So think of this as a hurricane came through Miami and wiped out my venue. I was going to have this big concert and I was going to make all this money on it. Oh, cripes. This is the type of insurance that would come in to help either A, recoup all my losses, or B, make sure that all that revenue continues to come in. Interesting or not interesting, depending on how you guys view insurance. This line of insurance is under a high amount of scrutiny right now.
I bet there's a lot of weather issues with festivals.
Weather, but also during COVID. Oh man, this entire industry took a huge hit, like generationally. So for the next 20 years or so, this type of insurance is going to be reeling still from that. What that means for people that want it is it's harder to get. You can still get it, but it's just going to be a lot more scrutiny, a lot more questions, a lot more, well, we need to have somebody go take a look at this. I'm more or less saying this just to help you guys understand, like, this isn't the type of clickable auto insurance that you can get. Typically, these event cancellation policies are going to be a little bit trickier, a little bit more, some actual person needs to look at it. There are some policies that we can automate from our end of it, but just to provide a little bit of context of it.
And that looks expensive. So 600K in coverage is about $6,000. I mean, that's less expensive than losing all your revenue, but.
Yeah.
So are
depends
generally
on
these are more like for consumer events then? So for the concerts, for the festivals where you're selling actual tickets?
yeah, that'd be a good example. I mean, this could also be for a wedding. I put $50,000 down for my wedding deposit, and the wedding never happened because of the weather that came in.
Yeah.
As
Okay.
well. The venue gets wiped out and it's out of business. Well, that sucks for that wedding couple. Well, this is the type of insurance policy that could compensate them.
Okay.
If you are looking to it, going into it with the mindset of 1 to 1.5%, that's typically the fees for it. Like you said there, Liz. Scalable in terms of what you want covered to. Usually you just say, I want $100,000 in coverage. Great, here's the amount that you'll pay for it. So you kind of have to make sure that it is the right amount that you guys want or need in terms of what kind of coverage that you would like.
Okay.
That's a lot of the slides that I have on my end of it, Liz. I didn't want to take over the entire conversation. I did want to make sure I said, okay, Lonnie, you got to get through this stuff. You got to make sure people have a little bit of a surface level side of it. I do have a couple more that just more of a casual and as well as an offer for Club Ichi members. But
Well, I have more questions on other
Yeah.
types of insurance. If you could enlighten us a little bit on, there's general liability for your business. So we have a lot of solopreneurs, freelancers, that are kind of managing this on their own. So obviously everybody gets their general liability insurance. But then if you are running an event for a client, do you need special event insurance for that, or is your general liability cover whatever you're doing?
It's going to depend. That's a really
Okay.
hard one to answer because some business owner policies do have that as an endorsement. Some of them don't.
Mhm.
It really depends policy by policy. Again, venues are also going to ask for additional insured. So if that other party is going to be a part of that event, so like let's say you're having an event for Target and they're going to be in there, you're going to want to have a copy of their insurance as well.
Their insurance. Okay. All right. And then for me doing my own events, and I know we have a lot of people that do their own retreats and things like that, then they need to get a special event insurance separate from general liability. Is that correct?
Yes.
And what is the difference in what that covers? I know I had to get special event insurance when we did the yacht in Croatia last year. That was a very terrifying thing, right? So
So like a general liability, like a business owner's policy, that type of policy is going to cover you for just anything that happens within your business entity itself. So
Okay.
um, let's just say you had a brick and mortar shop. If somebody came into your shop and slipped on the floor because you just clean up on it, that would go in your general liability. Uh,
Okay.
within your BOP policy. We call them BOPs, business owner policies. That would go under that. If you're hosting a special event that goes out of the realm of that normal business operations, that's when you start to go, okay, this needs to have this type of insurance. And again, it really depends on the venue too. If you're having a um, small corporate get together with some C levels of 10 people at a brewery and you're booking that back room, 9 times out of 10, that brewery already has insurance to cover that type of event. Um, but again, consult them, ask them that venue what type of insurance they require.
Okay. And then we were having a conversation about our secret family trip. And because we are booking everyone's flights, because that's part of the trip, I was told I need some sort of special travel operators insurance. Have you heard of that?
I have not, but I'm
Okay.
sure you do. Specifically, the travel industry is not regulated, but has some financial intricacies. Stripe, for example, does not like to work with travel agencies. So, like Stripe, that major processing, they actually have
Hmm.
requirements that say we can't work with travel agents or these types of, you have to be cleared, like go through some extra clearance rather than just any sort of online shop. Simply because there is a lot more risk involved with it, a lot more fraud involved with it. So that does come into play when you're talking about the insurance side of it, simply to protect yourself as well as those individuals that are traveling for you.
Okay. All right. So that's something else for me to go look into then is figure out the differences in do I have special event insurance and travel operator insurance, or are they both the same thing? So that's my new adventure. Okay. Um, on the special event insurance side, who can offer that? We get this question inside Club Ichi all the time. Do you know, could you just go to your regular like insurance vendor, or are there special people that do special event insurance?
Event insurance, depending upon what you need from it, there's really only at the heart of it two or three major carriers. And what I mean by that is insurance is multi-layered. You have brokers like us that are, the face to consumers. That's who we talk with. There's plenty of those all throughout the world. Then there's usually a carrier. So those are typically Lloyd's of London, Tokyo Marine, these large insurance operators, billion-dollar companies that basically say, Lonnie, you're giving me this opportunity to protect this. We take a big chunk of that premium. You keep Lonnie, you keep, whatever percentage, small amount. Tokyo Marine then does all the work if there's a claim, they financially back it. Then there's also a reinsurer that Tokyo Marine has in case there is a large event, a large catastrophe. And a lot of times that can either be a government-run institution or a larger entity like that, or a group of insurers that all come together and say, we'll back Tokyo Marine on these types of policies and these types of events. So that Tokyo Marine goes, great, I've got somebody, if something happens, I'll now go to the broker. And there's even maybe a fifth layer behind that that can, again, make sure that there's a reinsurer to the reinsurer in case somebody goes broke within that. So your premium doesn't necessarily just go to that broker that's writing the policy, they're usually spreading the wealth to three or four different parties. And that's not even including somebody that would get a revenue share from writing claims. So all of when you come in to get a claim submitted.
Okay. Well, so if I have Allstate, Geico, whoever for random insurances things, then I just reach out to them and just ask them for this one, and then they can probably find the people for me.
Yeah, those larger entities will typically have a wing of it. Now, they're more often than not going to have the same or similar policies and exclusions. That's kind of the interesting thing is about insurance is that it's usually pretty uniform. They're all going to the same state entities. All insurance, for the most part, is admitted to the state. Well, not all insurance, I'm sorry, but policies from an event liability perspective are written back to the state. So the state says you can write these types of policies. They need to cover this and the insurance agencies submit it back to them. So you're typically getting the same types of coverages. It just depends on what exclusions you have, and that insurance agent or that broker advising you through it, saying, "Hey, you should add this, or you should not need this, or you should have this limit or not this limit."
So talk to me about that. What does it mean by exclusions?
So an exclusion could be, "We're not going to serve alcohol at this event, so I don't need any sort of policies that would include that," or an
Oh,
exclusion
interesting.
for I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head, or a price differentiator could be this is an event for 20 people or 2,000. Those
Mm,
types of different things. But
hmm
alcohol is probably the big one. Live music, those are also big ones as well.
hmm
Specifically, if you have a live jazz band, hey, insurance agents love that. If you have a Rammstein cover band, they're not going to like that. So they're going to, yep, hard rock concerts, rap concerts, they don't necessarily like those.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I did see in one of the slides about like the act cancellation insurance. Does that fall under one of those, like event cancellation, or is it the way to ensure if your keynote speaker drops out or whatever?
Exactly. That is part of an event cancellation, performer no show. Another way to say it. If you hired Nelly to come to your event and he no showed that last day, you could absolutely uh, provide coverage for that.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, and Megan commented if you're busing people, that affects things. So is there a whole different arm of the business? If you is that just part of your general coverage?
It's again part of the exclusions that you have on there that they'll ask in the process.
Okay.
Thing on one site, is everything going to be hosted there? And is there alcohol? All those other types of questions that typically get asked. That if they're not asking a lot of questions, that typically means they're maybe assuming the worst, so giving you a higher amount. So make sure you just give as much information as you can within the quoting process.
Question, what about workman's comp? How does that work with contractors and gig workers? And is that part of general liability or is that a totally separate insurance?
Totally separate insurance. So there's four categories of insurance, essentially broadly. You know, there's life insurance, there's property casualty, there's health insurance, and then like you were talking about there from a workers' comp. I don't really work with that end of it. That starts to get into the business owner side of it, from a workers'
Okay.
comp side of it. So I can't answer those questions, at least not intelligently.
Well, no, but it's good to know where it falls. So I didn't know about the different categories. That makes perfect sense.
And then event liability will not cover a workman's comp. So if you're hosting an event and one of the caterers hurts themselves, that's not on your policy. That goes back to that company's workers' comp, not yours.
Okay. So do we need to be asking our vendors about their insurance policies if we're like the freelance solopreneur or even the agency running these things?
You can. I mean, it's not something I would say not to do.
I've just honestly never occurred to me.
I mean, it's good to have, good to know, but it's also just who you keep company with. If they're a
Mhm.
small entity, then yeah, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But what kind of exposure are you guys having if you have somebody there that doesn't have insurance? So if one of their employees gets hurt, it would go back onto their insurance. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I've honestly never asked a caterer about their insurance, so it's just something to add to the checklist. Very interesting. Okay, so tell me about, let's go back to the booking insurance, the like purchasing a ticket piece and how your company works. How would I get that insurance added? So do you have a list of companies that you already work with, or do we take this to our reg vendor? How does it work?
you are so good, Liz. Thank you very much.
I legitimately want to know.
Yeah. So we do have some platforms that are working with us currently. I'm going to cheat and do the screen share again. Oh gosh, that blew up on me. There we go. Well, Cvent is probably the big one that everybody knows about. Growth Zone is in the association management space. Relevant Full Planning Pod, those are more private events in terms of liability side of it, but we are growing. Everything you see on this top half have come on board in the last year, so we're continuing to grow, continue to grow. Where I think it'd be exciting is for Club Ichi members. If you guys have a
Mhm.
registration platform that you guys use or an event management platform, and you want to introduce us to it, we'll give you guys $100 to Starbucks or Amazon if you do that intro. Now, restrictions on that, run it by us
Sure,
first.
sure.
If you say, hey, I've got this thing with planning, well, all right, thank you very much, but let's just make sure. Uh,
Hello, Swugo. I would like to
yeah,
introduce you to Lonnie.
exactly. It'd be great. I'm signing up through a Sugo to go to an event right now. I'm like, oh, it'd be great to see our offer on that end of it. Yeah, any sort of those types of opportunities, we'd absolutely love to have that conversation with you guys. Give you
Yeah.
guys $8 for coordinating a call with us.
So how does that work? Is the reg company paying you, or is it just a service you're offering through their ability to get to the registrants?
Yes.
Okay.
To give you a little bit of behind the scenes, uh, we work with like a Cvent or an example platform. They would be receiving compensation from us to be a part of their platform.
Okay.
So we pay
Okay.
them to have it within their checkout flows. There's no
Mm-hmm.
cost to anybody to have this on their insurance. The only people that are paying for the actual insurance are those attending the event and paying the, $10 to insure $100 on their ticket.
Well, I can't think of any reason that a reg platform shouldn't be working with you. So that was a pretty good pitch.
I love this, Liz.
No, I really appreciate you coming in and sharing a little bit about the event insurance side of things because there's just so many to think about from the business side and then from each event. So I'd love to open it up if anybody else has other questions on the event insurance piece that Lonnie can help you with.
I'm sure there's a lot of specific questions where I had this event in Houston and it was this many people, and I didn't know if I can't answer those types of questions because there's a ton more if thens, what ifs, and how abouts. But if you do have anything that's specific that you think of that keeps you up at night, I'm on
Yeah.
the Slack channel, at Lonnie, that's me. Uh,
Mhm.
Email me, text me. I don't think anybody calls anymore, but
No, no, my daughter gets very angry when I try voicemails. She's like, no, you text, mom. You text. Okay, or you could just answer. That's one other thing.
I feel bad. I did that to my dad last night. I feel really bad about that now, Liz.
That's so funny. No, this was awesome. I really appreciate it. I know we had such a short conversation when we just did the one-on-one, and I was like, you know what? I have so many questions. I would prefer that you just get in here and tell everyone else that wants to know this stuff too. So I appreciate you being willing to hop on and share this with us.
Really excited about it. Thank you again, Liz.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks everybody for joining. Please find Lonnie in Slack or ping me. I can connect you, and I appreciate y'all being here.
Thanks a lot.
Yay. Thanks, team. Bye.